The number of young people who are not in education, employment or training is at its highest level for more than a decade. Astonishingly, the most recent figures show that 946,000 young people are in that position. That is almost 1 in every 8 young people across the country. We can all agree that that situation is completely unsustainable and is damaging to our society. But despite the promises, the government's actions have only made it harder for young people to find jobs. To the surprise of no one, apart from the Chancellor and her backbenchers, increasing the cost of employment through the rise in national insurance has led to more unemployment. Last month, we saw the biggest monthly fall in payroll employees since the pandemic, and the unemployment rate across the United Kingdom is at 5.1%. So what's Labour's response? They just keep increasing benefits. Welfare spending will rise £18 billion this year and is on track to increase by another £73 billion over the next 5 years. And the biggest driver of that increase is spending on working-age adults. New claimants for personal independent payments are 78% higher than pre-pandemic levels. And of that, 110,000 graduates under the age of 30 are now claim at least one benefit without being in work. Why would a young person today take on the risk of their idea and start a business or put hours of effort into a job when they see more and more of their peers getting by on government handouts? I come to this issue with a very simple belief. The best form of welfare is a well-paid job, and that must be our guiding principle as a country. I will give way.
Can I tempt him with a very simple belief, and that is unemployment is like any other commodity. The more you pay for it, the more you will have of it.
The honourable member makes an incredible point, and that is precisely what businesses tell me. As I said, it's come to no surprise of none of my constituents and none of my businesses in my constituency of Broxbourne, apart from the Chancellor and the Labour Party, that if you tax jobs more, there will be less jobs for people to go to. And that we have been making that point on this side, and I'm always surprised that when we hear from government MPs and Labour MPs, when they come out and they say, well, we've spoken to businesses in my constituency and everything seems fine. I mean, just speak to businesses with a Conservative MP, they give you a completely different message. More people in decent, sustainable employment and a life of benefits is better for our economy and our public finances. To show young people there can be a better future, we must change the economic model to properly reward employment and change our education system so that young people are prepared for the world of work. As I've said before in this place, we should be more creative about what we're asking young people to learn at school. Countless employers in my constituency have told me that when they hire school leavers, they lack important skills such as writing an email, speaking with customers over the phone, understanding basic finance and understanding the language of contracts. It's not that young people today can't or won't develop these skills, nor that it's the fault of our brilliant teachers. The curriculum just simply isn't geared to preparing young people for the world of work in the modern world. That is why we should be inviting local businesses, entrepreneurs and employers into schools more regularly so they can share their knowledge and experience to encourage students to think about how they can get their ideas off the ground and what it takes to run a viable business. And Madam Deputy Speaker, I was told when I asked a question in this place by a government minister from the dispatch box that it is government that creates economic growth in this country. Now, let me just say gently to the government, it is not the government, it is not us as MPs that create economic growth within this country. It is all of our constituents out there across the United Kingdom that put a risk, take their ideas forward, create those jobs and create that economic growth locally and in course, employ lots of people. You could learn in school about marketing, economics, maths and law, all without knowing you're actually learning these skills and all without a textbook in sight. That sort of system would help our young people navigate the crucial period after leaving school and make them more attractive to employers. And I've seen the fantastic work at the Broxbourne School, which teach T-levels, a business T-level, where they actually go out into the world of work, have an apprenticeship alongside learning in the classroom. That is what we need to gear our education system towards, preparing young people better for the world of work that we now see in the 21st century. And I've heard a number of speakers from the government side, and I'd just like to say that I was educated and went through my whole education in the United Kingdom under New Labour and under Tony Blair. And I remember Tony Blair saying that he wanted half of all young people to go to university. Now, university might be the right choice for some young people in this country. It's not the right choice for everybody. And when I was at school picking my choices about what I would do after school, the word apprenticeship wasn't even in the school's vocabulary. There was no offer of apprenticeship. You essentially went to university or you fell off an edge of a cliff and you did nothing. Now, that is not a record that I would be proud of after when New Labour was in power last time. So I think they need to reflect on what they did last time in government, because it clearly didn't work then and it's not going to work now. I will give way.
Honourable gentleman must be really pleased about what the Prime Minister has said about the new target of 2/3 of young people being in either higher education or apprenticeships and training.
Also, I'm pleased about that target. Anyone can come to this House and stand at that dispatch box and make a target and make it sound good, but we want action on the ground. The government has been in power now for 18 months, and when I speak to my constituents, we don't see action. When I speak to young people in my constituency, we don't see action. We need to move faster and further on this. I will give way one more time. Look.
The honourable gentleman would also be very pleased to see the Further Education White Paper as well, which will put some of those things into action.
Look, I'd gently just say to the honourable lady, you had 13 years to come up with a plan for government when you were in opposition. That paper should have landed the day after the general election. She should be getting on with it, not 18 months down the line. My message to the government is clear. Yes, make the obvious changes to the tax that businesses from all of our constituencies are crying out for, but also show you're really serious about creating economic growth, tackling youth unemployment and bring forward fundamental changes to education in this country.